Close attention must be given to income and wealth distribution to eradicate poverty. SOSMA needed as existing laws are inadequate. Good evening, welcome to News on 2. I'm Jessica Lee. Now, students in higher learning institutes need to follow procedures, rules and regulations made by their universities in order to avoid chaos. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said students are free to express their views, but it should be done at suitable places and should not interrupt official ceremonies.
Well, we have certain procedures and rules and regulation. We need to follow those rules, otherwise there will be chaos. What would happen if the whole of their convocation is laced with these people and their protest demonstrations? They can demonstrate, but there are other places to do that. But don't disturb a proper ceremony by trying to show that you have certain views. You can show those views elsewhere.
He was commenting on a news report that a University Malaya student, while on stage after receiving his scroll during the university's graduation ceremony, had held up a placard calling for the university top official to step down over his remarks at the Malay Dignity Congress in Shah Alam, Selangor recently. However, the Prime Minister said the government should not interfere too much with the university in managing the institution, as they are free to make their own decisions. He was met after opening the Yayasan Sejahtera Community Development Fund at the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty 2019 Forum in Kuala Lumpur. On another note, Tun Dr. Mahathir said Malaysia has made considerable strides in its poverty eradication efforts, but problems relating to poverty persist and require policy attention. Now, he also said Malaysia is no longer just grappling with absolute poverty, but also with relative poverty, pockets of persistent poverty, and urban poverty, as well as increasing inequalities. In this regard, he said close attention has to be given to income and wealth distribution, as progress towards reducing poverty will be stunted unless improvements in income and wealth distribution occurred alongside poverty reduction.
Our experience has taught us that economic growth per se does not equate to development for all. Averages hid a lot of inequality. A country cannot consider itself developed if some segments of society do not have access to basic amenities, do not have jobs that can give them sufficient incomes, or are unemployed and have little access to productive assets.
The Premier added it is for these reasons that the government launched Malaysia's new economic model, the Shared Prosperity Vision, which will enable all Malaysians to continuously experience sustainable and equitable growth at all levels of society, regardless of race, class or location. Now, Malaysia still needs the Security Offences or Special Measures Act 2012 SOSMA to fight terrorism activities in the country, in light of what has been happening around the world recently as well as locally. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin says SOSMA is needed as a legal instrument, adding that without SOSMA, the perpetrators will be free to threaten the sovereignty of the country, as the current laws in the country are not adequate. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also reiterated that the Pakatan Harapan or PH coalition never promised to abolish SOSMA in their election manifesto, but to review chapters and sections which needs to be amended, which is said to be draconian and against human rights. The Home Ministry, he said, has started to engage with various agencies, including the Human Rights Commission of Malaysia or SUHAKAM, to receive input and response on the amendment.
Jadi yang kita janjikan ialah untuk meneliti mana-mana bab atau pasal dalam SOSMA yang boleh kita perbaiki ada setengah yang dikatakan drakonian ke ataupun tidak selaras dengan hak asasi manusia ke, zalim ke dan sebagainya lah. Ini telah pun kita mulakan sejak tahun ini dan kita telah bincang dengan banyak stakeholder, Suhakam, banyak lagi dan mendapatkan input dan maklum balas tentang apa perkara yang perlu kita tindak.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this after launching the National Registration Departments or NRD Day in Putrajaya today. Commenting on the Tanjung PI by-election, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, who is also Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia or Bersatu President, said the name of Pakatan Harapan's candidate will only be announced next week.
Kita akan program untuk memperkenalkan calon Pakatan Harapan di situ. Saya sebagai fungsi PH dan juga pengarah saya akan umumkan nanti. Jadi insyaAllah kita akan dapatkan tokoh dan calon yang agak terbaik dan sesuai untuk Tanjung PI.
The nomination day for the by-election is 2nd of November, while polling is on the 16th of November. The by-election is being held following the death of Datuk Dr. Muhammad Farid Muhammad Rafiq last month. Now, there are no laws which prevent employers from employing pregnant women. However, Deputy Human Resources Minister Datuk Mahfuz Omar said complaints can be lodged if there are gender discrimination in employing women, especially after the government decided to increase maternity leave up to 90 days. He said the ministry, through the Labour Department or the Corporate Communications Department, can take action against the employers. Now, this includes contacting the employers, organise a meeting and advise them so that such incidents do not happen.
Pertanyaan jawab lisan seterusnya saya ingin
Tiada sebarang undang-undang yang memperuntukkan bahawa mana-mana majikan yang tidak mengambil wanita hamil bekerja dan sebagainya. Tetapi semua itu boleh dibuat aduan untuk kami bertindak menghubungi pihak majikan dengan membuat perundingan dan memberikan nasihat supaya perkara-perkara sebegini tidak seharusnya berlaku. Dan inilah yang telah pun dimainkan, peranan ini dimainkan oleh pihak kementerian melalui Jabatan JTK dan juga Jabatan Pembangunan Perusahaan, Perhubungan Perusahaan.
He was answering a question from Permatang Power MP Nurul Izzah Anwar. Earlier, Human Resource Minister M. Kulasegaran had mentioned that action will be taken on employers who fail to approve 90 days maternity leave to women employees. During the tabling of Budget 2020, the government have stated it would re-examine the Employment Act 1955 to ensure the Act remain relevant. This also includes the government's plan to extend maternity leave from the current 60 days to 90 days from 2021 as a strategy to modernize the labour market. The government has started to review the poverty line or PGK in the country since March to further improve the existing model. Economic Affairs Deputy Minister Dr. Muhammad Razi Mohamajidin said based on a study conducted in 2016, the national PGK was at 980 ringgit, making the country's absolute poverty rate 0.4% or 24,700 households. The study is being carried out in collaboration with the Department of Statistics, the Ministry of Health and other relevant departments and agencies.
Sementara itu, bagi pengukuran garis kemiskinan yang lebih inklusif selaras dengan amalan antarabangsa, Indeks Kemiskinan Pelbagai Dimensi atau Multidimensional Poverty Index yang juga telah diperkenal dalam kajian separuh penggal Rancangan Malaysia ke-11, MPI mengukur dan memantau kemiskinan dalam perspektif pelbagai dimensi, merangkumi kesihatan, pendidikan, taraf hidup dan pendapatan.
Besides that, the ministry will continuously engage with relevant stakeholders on the implementation of Multidimensional Poverty Index or MPI, planning and formulating policies and more comprehensive and effective strategies and initiatives to eradicate poverty throughout the 12th Malaysia Plan. Dr. Muhammad Razi Majidin said this when replying to Kubang Kerian MP Datuk Ibrahim Tuan Man. A 44-year-old man was sentenced to 7 years jail and 4 strokes of the rotan for committing physical sexual abuse on a 7-year-old girl. The sentence was meted out by Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court Judge Nuria Osman after the accused, Muhammad Firdaus Wong Abdullah, had pleaded guilty. The accused will also be put under police supervision for 1 year after he completes the sentence. According to the charge sheet, the accused had committed the heinous crime at a house in Batu Buruk on the 6th of February. He is charged under Section 14B of the Sexual Offences Against Children's Act 2017. The accused also faces another rape charge and 2 sodomy charges on 2 sisters. He, however, pleaded not guilty and claimed trial for all 3 charges. The court also set 12th of November for case remention. Indian Progressive Front or IPF President Senator Datuk M. Sambatan passed away due to cardiac arrest last night. Datuk M. Sambatan, who was a member of the Dewan Negara, passed away at the National Heart Institute (IJN) in Kuala Lumpur. He was 54. His son Ganesh Kumar said Datuk M. Sambatan was admitted in IJN for a week and went through a bypass operation last Sunday. He was in normal condition and his pulse at normal rate before suddenly suffering another heart attack. The funeral earlier took place at his residence in Semenyih, Selangor. Datuk M. Sambatan is survived by his wife M. Jayalakshmi and 3 sons including Ganesh and 1 daughter. The government reiterated its stand that there will be no ceiling price for airline fares. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook said the government would continue to allow ticket prices to be determined by the market as the country practice open economy system.
Untuk makluman, memang kita ada banyak perbahasan berkenaan sama ada nak meletakkan harga siling, harga lantai dan sebagainya. Tetapi kalau kerajaan melaksanakan sebarang rangka tersebut, ia tidak memenuhi ekonomi pasaran. Kerana apa yang kita praktikkan dalam sistem ekonomi negara kita ialah sistem ekonomi terbuka.
He said this in the Dewan Rakyat. Meanwhile, the Transport Minister said the government has no plans to build a low-cost carrier terminal LCCT in every state. He added the priority was for the airport operators to understand the operational and service requirements of low-cost airlines. Now, in conjunction with the Visit Malaysia 2020 year, the government is targeting 1 million tourist arrivals from India. Deputy Director General of Tourism Malaysia, Datuk Muhammad Razib Hassan, said the country was one of the potential contributors to Malaysia's tourism sector. Datuk Muhammad Razib explained that last year a total of 600,000 Indian tourists had arrived in Malaysia who spent a total of 2.7 billion ringgit.
For wedding in particular, obviously they look after the islands and also beaches. Langkawi in particular, Penang, and then for gardens and parks, Kuala Lumpur as a choice. Then they go to Sabah and then over certain places in Sarawak. And as far as Johor.
According to him, India is also a major contributor in many other sectors, especially in the industry involving wedding events. He said this after launching the Wedding and Business Seminar in Kuala Lumpur. The seminar has brought together 39 wedding planners, 12 of which were from India. Meanwhile, Datuk Razib also noted that in line with the Visit Malaysia year, various promotional strategies will be held to achieve the targeted 300 million tourist arrivals. Now, Malaysia is exploring the possibility of sourcing raw sugar from India beginning next year. Primary Industries Minister Theresa Kok, in a statement, said Malaysia is also studying the prospect of importing more buffalo meat from India to meet the increasing local demand. Elaborating further, Theresa said this is one of the efforts by Malaysia to close the trading gap with India after it was agreed in a meeting held on 14th of October. She also encouraged local companies to import products from India by leveraging the preferential treatment accorded under the Malaysia-India Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, or MICECA. Theresa said this is in recognition of the fact that India is Malaysia's third largest export market for palm oil and palm oil products in 2018, with an export value of 6.84 billion ringgit. That amount contributed to 10.1% of total palm oil and palm oil products, thus showing how big Indian market is for Malaysia. The trade war between China and the United States will not affect the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, which is expected to be signed next year. According to Deputy Minister of International Trade and Industry, or MITI, Dr. Ong Ken Ming, this is because the RCEP will only include ASEAN countries and 6 other countries which are the partners of the Free Trade Agreement, or FTA. Dr. Ong also said that in terms of trade volume, ASEAN countries and China have been integrating well because China is now the largest trading partner among ASEAN countries.
The challenge that I think we face is to the extent to which ASEAN economies can increase their integration within one another as part of the ASEAN Economic Community 2025. So our trade within ASEAN has not grown in percentage terms as much as our trade with China, for example. Malaysia is an open trading country. Our trade to GDP ratio is more than 100%. The US is our third largest trading partner. We want to be friends with everyone, and we hope that RCEP would be able to increase trade among and also investment among all the RCEP economies.
He was met by the media after delivering his speech at the opening of the Asia-Pacific Forum 2019 in the federal capital. The objective of the forum is to contribute to the long-term and sustainable economic growth of the Asia-Pacific region through discussions among experts. The value of Lembaga Tabung Haji, or TH domestic equity, rose by 1.12 billion to 7.8 billion ringgit as of 27th of September, compared to 6.36 billion ringgit last year. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Fuzia Saleh, said TH investments were focused on companies listed on Bursa Malaysia with a good financial performance and dividend record, while generating stable income as well as being Sharia compliant.
Selain daripada equity, tabung haji kini giat dalam mencari peluang pelaburan dalam semua kelas aset seperti hartanah dan instrumen keuangan berpendapatan tetap seperti sukuk.
Speaking at Dewan Rakyat, Fuzia said as of June this year, TH sold assets worth about 1.21 billion ringgit, which generated a profit of 61.6 million ringgit. She said this when answering a question from Rompin MP, Datuk Sri Hassan Arifin, on TH income from June 2019, the value of shares and assets sold in 2019, as well as estimated profit from June 2019. And that's it from us in our top story. Close attention must be given to income and wealth distribution to eradicate poverty. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Jessica Lee. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.